Hello, my name is Caden, and today we're going to do an oil change on the Pontiac Bonneville. This is a 1990. Maybe you just got one of these as your first car, you don't know how to work on it yet. Well, the best thing you can do is change your oil regularly. Or maybe you just have one of these and you just want to compare how it's done. Anyway, let's get to it. Things you will need include either a ratchet or a breaker bar with the 9/16 socket. Breaker bar will be easier, of course. Oil filter wrench, and your new oil and filter, and some gloves, which is optional, of course. So if you're changing your oil first thing in the morning, it's good to let your engine run for just a couple minutes to warm up the oil a little bit. It'll help it flow a little better out of the bottom. But of course, don't do it when it's too hot. Otherwise, you could risk burning yourself. So let's go ahead and break it loose with our breaker bar. Got it. And go ahead and undo your plug by either hand or with the wrench. And when you get loose, just pull it out and let it go right into your pan. So let your oil drip until it is pretty much gone. And go ahead and put your drain plug back in and tighten it down. Now, if you want to be professional, you can use a torque wrench, which on this car, it's rated at about 20 to 25 foot-pounds. Or you can just make it nice and tight, but just be careful not to over tighten it and strip anything out. When you do put the plug back in, I forgot to mention, try to use a oil drain plug gasket for your plug, so that way you don't leak oil. A lot of people don't know that, but that's why you get those drips on your driveway a lot of the time. Is just from the drain plug not having one of these gaskets on it. Okay, oil drained, all in the pan. Drain plug put back in with new gasket, tightened down. Next, we're going to move over to the oil filter, which is just right by the crankshaft pulley on this 3800 engine. And so I guess if you're unsure about which way they spin off, look at it from a bottom standpoint, and it's going to be the same as a regular bolt. It'll be lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. So in this case, we're going to put our wrench on the bottom, slip it through between the pulley and the filter there, and we're gonna basically push back, and that'll break it loose, and then we'll take it off. When I take it off, I usually like to wrap a couple of those blue towels around it, because oil will come out from the top and run down the sides of it. And a trick I like to use is I like to I put it in my new oil filter box. I put the old oil filter inside that box, and I have the new filter out ready to be put back in. Okay, so there's the old oil filter out. Of course, I left my drain pan below because it kind of does get everywhere when you undo those. Now, so here's my old one. Make sure the rubber gasket comes off with it, so that when you put your new one on, you don't double gasket it. And take a little bit of the old or new oil, whatever, put some around this. It'll make it come off a little easier next time, and then it won't stick. And also, depending if you can, fill your oil filter with a little bit of oil, so it doesn't run dry the first second or two when your engine starts. If your oil filter is like sideways or upside down, obviously you really can't. But if it's at an angle or straight up like this, put a little bit of oil in that to start it. Okay, new oil filter installed. When you do tighten these up, do not use your wrench. Go ahead and just grasp it with one or two hands and tighten it as much as you can by hand. And if it's real windy out today, like it is, make sure you don't get a bunch of oil all over your crank pulley. That's going to make your belt slip. So I am going to clean all of that off before I start my engine to make sure the belt doesn't start slipping and whatnot. But the next thing to do, I suppose, would be get your drain pan from out under your car, fill it into a recyclable container, preferably like a milk jug or your old plastic oil jugs, and you can take these to AutoZone and they will recycle them for you. Just the oil though, the antifreeze you'll have to take to your city recycler. But next thing you'll have to do, fill your oil back up. Crucial point, don't forget that. So this car says to use a 5W30, but with this engine having almost 1/3 of a million miles, I went to a 10W30, which is okay on an older engine like this. Do not do something like this in any modern engine. Leave it at the viscosity on a newer engine, but this one you can throw 10W30 in it, and you will be perfectly fine. And basically I do that so it burns a little less oil and it compensates for the, you know, the fraction of wear that has occurred in the engine over the years. So hopefully this helps some new people, or maybe you found a way to do something that I did that you didn't do. Doubt it though. Anyway, thanks for watching.